Ugh, the mist. Smooth. Confident. The same tone he had used a year ago when he offered Kale a place in the sect's inner circle, the invitation that had led to betrayal. Kale tightened his grip on the Eclipse Soul Blade, feeling the blade's vibration in his bones. The moonlight and shadow here intertwined perfectly, charging the weapon with a hungry edge. Every instinct told him to strike first, but the slope was slick, the rocks treacherous, and the Heaven's Accord squad was spread in a loose half-circle. 7 players in all. Aaron Vallis stood at the center, no visible weapon in hand yet, wearing the pale and gold captain's cloak that marked him as one of the Accord's field leaders. The others were a balanced group, 2 tanks with tower shields, 3 DPS with long-range weapons, and a healer cloaked in silver. Environmental modifier, liminal edge active, plus 15% damage for shadow or light weapons in the zone. A few players in region chat must have spotted the confrontation, because notifications were already rolling in regions at Aeron, Lumen Rive Showdown. Accord vs Solo Shadow Forger. Region Riftling, is that Kale Vera? Did not he just unlock the class? Region Myra the Wisp, streams up. Do not blink, this will be over fast. Kale smiled faintly. That is what you think. The first move came from Aaron's left flank. One of the Accord tanks surged forward, shield raised, aiming to body check Kale into the falls. Kale let him come, shifting 1 foot back until his heel brushed the drop's slick edge. At the last moment, he used Veil Step, vanishing in a blur of shadow and reappearing just to the man's right. The Eclipse Soul Blade slid in under the tank's arm, scraping across the gap between breastplate and gauntlet. Sparks of light, not metal, flared where the blade bit into the liminal zone. Critical hit. Bleed inflicted. The tank stumbled forward, momentum carrying him dangerously close to the ledge. He caught himself, but his shield arm hung low now, slowed by the bleed effect. Aaron moved then, not toward Kale, but toward the ledge itself, cutting off Kale's retreat while the others pressed from the front. The battlefield contracted into a blur of motion. 1 DPS rained arrows tipped with golden light, each one humming with an anti-shadow ward. Kale sidestepped, letting 2 glance off the basalt, and used shade wire to trip the tank before the man could regain his footing. The tank fell hard, shield skittering toward the edge. The healer started a chant, Radiance Overgrowth, a spell that could smother Kale's shadow buffs for 30 seconds. Kale Veil stepped through the line, snapping the healer's concentration with a quick pommel strike to the ribs. She gasped, light flickering out around her. Aaron was still calm, still holding back. He watched Kale the way a predator studies prey, patient and confident. You are better, Aaron said over the roar of the falls. I will give you that. But better does not mean enough. Kale did not answer. Talking gave ground, and he was not here to give Aaron anything. The Accord's second tank closed in from Kale's right, shield raised. Kale dropped low, sliding between the man's legs in a move no melee DPS expected. The Eclipse Soul Blade bit deep into the tank's thigh armor seam, and Kale kicked backward, forcing the tank into his own healer. Shadow Forge dagger empowerment increased to plus 11. Trait progress, Eclipse attunement 2/3. Then Aaron drew his weapon. It was not a sword, spear, or bow. It was a glaive, the shaft black as pitch, the blade shimmering like captured starlight. Celestial Fang, Aaron's old signature weapon, reforged for patch 12.0. Even through the game's sensory filter, Kale felt the shift in the air as it cleared the sheath. Aaron spun it once, letting the blade hum. One last chance, Kale. Walk away and I will pretend I did not see you forging here. Kale's smile did not reach his eyes. You did not see me then, either. You just saw what you could take. They moved at the same time. The clash at the center of the liminal zone was almost too fast for the untrained eye. Kale's blade darted for Aaron's ribs while Aaron's glaive swept for Kale's shoulder. The weapons met with a shockwave of light and shadow that made the nearest Accord players stagger back. Environmental synergy triggered, opposed edge resonance. Damage increased by plus 10% for both combatants while locked. Kale disengaged first, pivoting to draw Aaron toward the edge. Aaron countered by spinning the glaive in a sweeping arc, forcing Kale back into the open. Arrows hissed past Kale's ear. One found its mark in his shoulder. His HP dipped to 63%. He yanked the arrow free and flicked it aside, already moving again. The fight drew watchers. Region chat exploded. Region Varan 88, this is insane. Aaron's letting the others hang back. Region Fenroot, Shadow Forger vs Celestial Fang, this is history. Region Taily Bright, Kale's gonna get pinched. Look at the healer circling. Kale saw it too. The healer was flanking, moving for a clear line to cast Radiance Overgrowth again. He could not spare a Veil step, not yet. Instead, he kicked a loose rock into the current at the cliff's edge. The splash made the healer flinch just enough for him to close the distance and plant a dagger tip in her casting hand. The Accord DPS moved to cover their healer. Aaron pressed harder, his glaive carving arcs that forced Kale to give ground. Then Aaron feinted high and struck low, the blade's tip catching Kale across the thigh. HP, 63% rightward arrow 48%. Pain lanced through Kale's haptics, sharp and hot. He let it anchor him instead of breaking focus. The Eclipse Soul Blade pulsed, drawing in both the moonlight and the shadow from the cliff's mist. Kale's counterattack came swift, 2 strikes to test Aaron's guard, then a third angled to hook the glaive's shaft. For a heartbeat, their weapons locked again. You always fight like you have already won, Kale said through clenched teeth. That is why you will lose. With a twist, he used Veil Step not backward but through Aaron's guard, reappearing at his left flank. The Eclipse Soul Blade carved a shallow line across Aaron's side. Bleed inflicted. Eclipse attunement complete, 3/3. New skill unlocked, Eclipse Break, execute, bonus damage in liminal zones. The bonus was small, but in this fight, small meant lethal. Aaron's health dipped into the yellow. His squad surged forward to cover him, but Kale was already fading into the mist, using the edge of the liminal zone to keep his buffs alive. Enough. Aaron barked, spinning the glaive and pointing its tip at Kale. Fall back. This is not over. The Accord players withdrew, lifting the wounded tank and healer. Aaron lingered just long enough to meet Kale's eyes, then turned and melted into the tree line. Battle summary: players defeated, 2 damage dealt, 18,423 environmental bonus maintained, 97% Eclipse Soul Blade empowerment, plus 12 Kale exhaled slowly, the mist curling from his lips. His notifications were already filling again: guild invites, stream clips, offers to collaborate on guides for the Shadow Forger path. He ignored them all. The world was watching now. And that was exactly how he wanted it.